right, it's 7 minutes past 9 o'clock. Don't worry, you're just right in time for the latest development across the country and within our borders. This is the 27th day of May, the year 2025. Indeed, it's a lot that is happening in our nation, and of course, because it's about the state of the nation, tonight we want to take a look at the state of the economy. And let me bring you into perspective for the better part of the day, today, and of course, yesterday. This is the third day of the public participation as far as the Finance Bill of 2025-2026 is concerned. The members of public are giving their proposals in regard to what they would want to be included or omitted in the Finance Bill of 2025. Now, so this is what you need to know as far as this bill is concerned. Now, the total estimate for the budget for the financial year 2025-2026 stands at 4.2 trillion. That is the country's biggest budget yet to be recorded. So, critical questions now is the method to finance this finance bill of 2025, and of course the various ways of the ways at which these funds will be spent. Now let's take a look at the financing aspect of this. Now this finance bill, or rather to finance this ambitious budget, the government uses various sources to finance its operation within the stipulated year, which include from the year 2025 to the year 2026. And these methods include revenues and loans and, of course, grants. In this financial year, of course, the government targets a total of estimated revenue of 3.3 trillion that will come in form of income tax. We have value added tax, then, or if you prefer the acronym VAT, then we have import duty, excess duty, then appropriation in aid and other taxes. Now these are the various methods. And remember, this is the biggest chunk of contributors to this 4.2 trillion budget that the government plans to source it from various sources. We have talked about taxes that will be used, and under this we have the income tax, we have the import, and of course excess duty in regard to this and other taxes. Now there is another critical avenue that the government will use to collect these taxes. Talking about now, the government targets to collect at least that is to collect at least additional 46.9 billion from loans and grant. Remember, a grant are essentially gifts that do not need to be paid back, while loans are financial obligations that must be repaid with an interest over a period of time. It could be 1 year, 3 months, depending on the agreement between now the lender and of course the borrower. And that is another critical aspect and avenue that the government plans to use to finance this the 4.2 trillion budget for the year 2025-2026. That is the financial year that the budget we expect will be read on the 12th day of June, very soon, just to bring us up into perspective of what to expect, and just breaking the nitty-gritties, what will be allocated in each department and of course ministries. But for now, this is the estimated target and the various ways that the government plan to actually collect these funds so that they can finance the activities and the operations of government for the next 1 year. That begins, the financial year for the government begins every June of every year. And of course, now we have another critical aspect. Remember, when you add now the revenues and of course the loans and grants and other taxes, now we still have a loophole, or rather we call it a shortfall of 876 billion. This is deficit after sourcing for all this estimated revenue. Now the government will still be short of 876 billion. This is what we call a deficit in business terms. So basically, it's a deficit. Deficit occur when a government spending exceeds its revenue over a specific period, usually 1 year. Now, so those are the ways that the government plans to actually, source for the funds to finance this 4.2 trillion budget for the financial year 2025. Now let's look at the expenditure. Where will this money be used? Now, the national government will get the lion's share of 4.9 trillion that will be shared in the three arms of government, that is the executive, the judiciary, and of course the parliament. Now, we have another 1.1 trillion that will be used to servicing debt, and part of this 1.1 will be used to service, that is domestic debt, that will go into paying domestic debt, while 246 billion will be used to service foreign debt, while 405 billion will be shared among the 47 county government. So that is how the government is planning to share these revenues. And remember, we have other parameters that we'll be discussing later on as far as the finance bill of 2025 is concerned. So this is just a nutshell of the proposed budget, and of course the various mechanisms that government plan to raise these funds, and the ways, or rather the means, or which department, how this money will be used to run various operations within the stipulated time, that is the financial year of 2025 going all the way to 2026. And this will be forming part of our discussion and of course our subsequent bulletin tonight. But remember,